sorry I was late. How's he doing?
Bad, Doc, bad.
Poor boy's had a tough go, but I never will understand these natives. If he'd only gone to the hospital, we could be using a respirator on him now.
How long has he been this way?
About a month. He should have been in the dispensary 3 years ago when he first had his accident.
You mean the gorilla attack?
Uh-huh. He was pretty badly mauled. His chest was crushed.
That's before I was transferred out here from the States. I didn't hear all the details on it.
Hand me the amyl nitrate out of the kit. I didn't hear all the details myself. And people around these parts don't talk very much. Especially Pastor. He's a noble character, proud. His gun bearer's been with him for years. They tell me he used to be a Maharaja in India.
Him, a Maharaja?
Uh-huh.
He's only a hunting guide now, practically a pauper.
Stimulant should be taking effect. He regained consciousness in a moment or two. Where's Velda?
She's over at the house sulking. She's peeved because I wouldn't let her come here. Would you mind running over to the house, Cyril, and keep an eye on her?
Sure.
Any reason why you didn't want her to come here?
Well, there's telling what a reaction might be. Besides, take it easy, relax. You're gonna be all right, Pastor.
Thank you, Doctor. There's no pain. And I know, as you must, the jungle drums beat the last minutes of my life.
That's nonsense.
No. When the jungle drums stop, I will be gone.
But your friend awaits your recovery. He said many animals still tremble at the sight of your gun.
Basta appreciate his presence. And you, Sahib, Doctor, your plans, you still go into the jungle with your brother?
My plans remain unchanged. I plan to leave as soon as possible.
You must not.
Why shouldn't we go, old man?
The years of youth always challenge the wisdom of age. How can one explain that which is only acquired through experience?
Why don't you get out, Jack? You're annoying him.
No. Let him remain, Sahib. As a man of medicine, you have witnessed death many times. Perhaps the sight will jar him into believing what I must say.
You're exciting yourself, draining his strength. Relax. Relax.
Perhaps there is some way before the candle flickers lower that I may impress upon him the dire consequences of his love for the girl.
Have you been talking to him about Velda and me?
Don't be silly.
There is no knowledge he could give me that I do not already possess. You're in love with a creature who you believe in 3 short years has cleansed her blood of the primitive instincts. Reared by the gorilla tribe, mothered by baboons. And yet you would not believe that someday her soft caresses could turn into hairy steel claws around your throat. I know of which I speak and feel the words must cut you like a blade. But I too once reached for a forbidden love and brought upon myself the curse of the llama. You see the results now. If you must go into the jungle, leave her there.
Easy.
Leave her. Leave her for the beast from whence she came.
If we go into the jungle, it won't be to leave Velda there. It'll be to satisfy a silly whim of my brother's.
Cut it out, Jack.
Velda told me what you did, and I appreciate it. But call her what you will, gorilla girl or jungle creature, it makes no difference. We love each other.
Perhaps my words will not bear fruit. Nor if they do, will you heed them? I can only ask that you grant me this last request.
I was young then, and impetuous as you are. A Maharaja, a man of great estate on a hunting expedition.
A week in this wilderness and not one shot. Not a sign of anything moving. Did not the mightiest of hunters Kurran assure his Maharaja that these were the best jungles in all the East?
It is impossible to explain, Your Highness. Many times I have passed this way as a traveler. never without seeing hundreds of animals.
Is it possible they've been killed? Or perhaps died of natural causes?
This forest has never been hunted, Your Highness. It's almost as if...
As if what?
As if the beasts sensed they were being hunted and all had fled.
Then my hunter would have me to believe that these wild beasts distinguish between the peaceful travelers and the Maharaja of Diary who shoots them for sport.
That would make them different than any animals I have ever hunted. Perhaps, Your Highness, if we pursued them this way.
Thou art indeed kind, my child.
Wait.
May the blessings of the three deities bring you good fortune.
And good hunting.
Holy man, you have great knowledge of all things.
I am very humble.
There is something we wish to know.
Why no game appears in the sights of your guns?
How did you know?
You are not the first to try the hunting in this jungle. All return home empty-handed.
And you assured me the game was plentiful. More so than in any jungle in the East.
Ah, but the game is here, in plenty. But unless you come in peace, you will never be aware of it.
How do you explain that?
The holy man told us of this boy who was reared by the animals such as Velda. He was their law, their protector. And so long as we remained in this jungle, we were subject to his law. If we disobeyed, a curse would fall upon us, and a member of our party would die.
The son of a great prince who traveled this jungle years ago. The baby was reared by the animals, so the people say. He has become a brother to them.
Have you seen him?
I have seen him.
Thank you, holy man. What is your wish, Highness? Do you believe?
There may be something in what he says. We'll camp here tonight and tomorrow.
From the moment I saw Ronnie, nothing else mattered but my desire for her. All thoughts of my hunt vanished, even the warning of the Holy One, which a moment before had sounded foreboding, was now of little or no importance.
Holy man, that girl who brought your food, who is she?
She? The daughter of Rajan, leader of our village.
And her name?
Rani, of good character and great beauty.
Find this Rajan and bring him to my tent tonight.
Yes, Highness.
And let us hope you are better at hunting men than wild beasts.
It may not sound plausible to you of the Western world that the projected thought of a holy Lama could have wrought the disaster that was to befall us.
You mean the Sabu fellow was reared by animals?
Not only was he reared by them, but he lived with them as one. He was so much an animal that he not only shared their thoughts, but he spoke their language.
This curse. Would you explain it?
There is a law of the jungle which allows one to partake for necessity. But the product that belongs must remain. Perhaps I was ruthless, but I loved Ronnie as much as you love Velda. And I would let nothing, Sabu or the curse, prevent me from obtaining that which I sought. I waited for Kurran to bring the girl's father to me.
This is Rajan, Highness.
You are improving, Kurran. Perhaps we will find an animal yet, after all.
You wished my presence, Highness?
What is your price?
Highness?
For your daughter's hand, Rani. I wish to marry her.
The daughter of a humble man such as myself. This is indeed the highest of honors.
Well,
I have no price. It is impossible.
no price? She is not married.
She is betrothed. If I had but known, Highness, if I could have anticipated...
No, and I suppose you're a man of honor who cannot go back on his bargain. Even if I restore the man his goods, and make you wealthy beyond your greatest dreams.
Perhaps there is a way.
Yes?
My son-in-law-to-be, Kadlu, is away on a pilgrimage to the mountain shrine. Perhaps if I received word that he had been killed by a tiger...
A tiger? In these jungles?
And if the wedding were to take place quickly, when Kadlu returned, we would be very sorry. A mistake, but too late to correct.
You're a wise man, Rajan. Interested in a daughter's happiness. Pay him his price, whatever it is. And bring the girl to me tomorrow.
Oh, Father, good. Your curry is just ready.
I'm afraid my appetite is not so good, little one. I bring you bad news.
Bad news? Kadlu?
They say he never reached the mountains. On the jungle trail, a tiger.
He's dead.
I know it is terrible, little one, but I bring good news also. My little daughter is to be the bride of the Maharaja. It is all arranged, little one. Imagine the daughter of the house of Rajan, a princess. The deities are indeed kind in this hour of our sorrow.
No,
Rani!
I will not. If I cannot marry Kadlu, I marry no one. I would rather die. Let the tiger that tore its flesh tear mine, too.
Rani! Rani! And that's the story, Highness. She ran into the jungle. Perhaps she is already dead.
If she encounters no more animals than we in our hunting, she is perfectly safe. Besides, a lone girl in the jungle should not be too hard to pursue. Eh, Kurran?
Not at all, Highness. I could follow her anywhere. But suppose she encounters Sabu. Your hunters would be no match.
Silence! The jungle boy interferes too often. Organize a search party. Take as many men as you need. And I prefer my bride to be alive.
Yes, Highness.
Rani was determined in her desire to escape any possibility of marriage with me. She did not fear the terrors of the jungle, it seemed. If only she could succeed in eluding me or my party members. It may be that she was frightened, but trusted to a hope of finding either Sabu or her own Kadlu.
I had ever faith in Kurran. Oh, I was confident he would track down the girl. But I did not have the slightest hope we would ever capture the jungle boy.
Did you?
In due time. But not before Ronnie told him of my presence and my intent. He belonged to her kind. I didn't. I had convinced myself that Kurran's death was accidental. All my men were killed or maimed. But I was spared for even a much worse fate. My empire was shattered.
Easy, Pastor.
I was left penniless. And I wandered from continent to continent, selling my services as a professional guide to other hunters.
I had come to the Veldt country with an expedition that would take me deep into gorilla country. I had left the main party and was alone. But the fascination of the hairy beast drove all caution from my mind. A premonition of impending danger kept reminding me of the old llama's curse. But even so, I found myself getting further and further from the main party. Perhaps I was foolhardy going into the country of the bush gorilla. That beast whom even the lion leaves alone. But I wanted a shot at one. I found the gorilla tracks and followed them for several miles without locating the animal. From the sign, I knew it must be a huge one, and my blood began to pound. When I fully regained my senses, I saw her beside the gorilla. Where she came from, I did not know, and at first I thought she was... But no, it couldn't be. I tore my glance from her. I wanted my rifle because I was in a desperate situation.
You know the rest, Sahib Doctor. We delivered the girl into your custody. You have been ministering to my ailing health ever since. I wish you all the blessings of the deities, not the curse of the jungle.
There is no curse of jungle, except to him who disobeys.
Velda.
Didn't I tell you to keep her home, Cyril?
Look, I tried.
I'm taking you back to that.
Velda not go until old man die.
Get her out of here, Jack.
Let her remain. Her kind sense the odor of death. For many days she has known this hour was coming.
Look, Arthur, maybe there's still time. Why don't we take him to the hospital?
There is not time.
She's right. There is very little time left. I wish to breathe my last in the open. Sahib Doctor, closer, please. I can see by the look in your eye. Nothing will prevent your trek into the jungle. Perhaps, in my absence, I can still be with you. Reach into my pocket. My pocket.
What is it?
It's the eye of the jungle.
When I fled the land of Sabu, I found it and that shrunken head among my possessions.
There was an omen. When the curse of the jungle is atoned, only then can it be returned to the place from whence it came.
I don't understand.
There are many things in the East that are secrets and cannot be comprehended by you people from the Western world.
What do you want me to do with them?
Take it with you on your journey. Perhaps it will influence your actions. Perhaps even my eternity.
What about the head?
Leave the head here. It is a symbol of death. Many times I have tried to lose it, but it always reappears.
The eye. What if it never returns?
To believe is to be. To doubt. Have faith, Sahib. Have faith.
Now these are the laws of the jungle, and many and mighty are they, for the head and the hoof, or the law and the haunch, is obey.
And now we had started on the safari. I kept thinking of Pasta, the old Maharaja. It's the eye of the jungle, the shrunken head. I marvel about the wonders of this dark continent, this land of many contrasts. For a few short miles could take you from thriving modern cities into uncharted, treacherous wilderness. I'd been in Africa a dozen or more years. I knew its people and its dark, mysterious ways. I was not exactly new to the jungle either. And yet there was something entirely different from any other trip I had made. I knew it was because of Velda. Animals which ordinarily run or attack at the sight of a human intrusion seemed docile, friendly, curious. It was as though they recognized Velda as one of their own. As we continued on, I wondered about the old heredity and environment angle. As Velda is thrust further into her jungle surroundings, would she revert to her former self, or would she remain a white girl? I kept telling myself I had to know. We spent the night on the brink of the Zambezi River. Next morning, Cyril and I were up and once more marveling at the glories of this weird country. Jack and Velda saw it too, but in a different light.
Are you happy with the safari, Velda?
Much happy.
You're not worried or scared?
Velda, not scared. Nothing hurt me. This my country.
Your country is beautiful. Very beautiful. It's going to be hard to leave. But you'll like our country, America, when we go.
Jack not go. Always stay with Velda. Here.
Of course. I'll never leave you. Velda, how do you think of me?
Jack love Velda? Velda loved Jack. And protect him, too.
Jack's a lucky guy. But he also likes a kiss now and then.
Oh, Velda got many kisses for Jack.
Let me up for air.
Velda liked you.
See my brother a minute.
Africa's a fascinating country. Kind of overwhelms a fellow, doesn't it? We were not aware when the drums began to beat, but as we watched Velda, I knew the rhythm in this weird dance had something to do with death. I remembered this spot as a sacred burial ground. The spears were grim reminders of departed warriors. Velda danced frenziedly, until suddenly, as if from nowhere, the death's head appeared in her hands. I recalled Pastor's words, that it symbolized imminent death. I felt cold and clammy, wondering who it would be. The safari took us deeper and deeper toward gorilla country. For Jack and Velda, it was a sort of outing, a lark. To me, it was a search for an answer to an ageless question. Could evolution have any basis? Could it influence the mating instinct of a girl whose life had been half gorilla and half civilized? And yet I found myself on the defensive for Velda. Where did she come from? How long had she been with the gorilla pack? I try to remember the details of a missionary couple who had been killed in a safari in this back country about 10 or 12 years before. They had a daughter who was never found afterwards. Could it be she was that girl? Perhaps she was. It was a long shot. Whatever the answer, it might place the lives of 4 people in jeopardy. A strange quiet came over the safari. That is until we came into a clearing on the banks of the Sabi River. By now, Cyril was dehydrated, but he wouldn't venture near the water's edge. Instead, he decided to drink from a small stream which emptied into the river. Cyril drank heartily of water, and we drank in the scenery, as Velda identified the various animals for us. She told us of the Velda beast, an animal much like the buffalo back in the States. We watched the ugly, laughing hyenas that sought any prey left behind by other well-filled denizens of the forest. She pointed out the kudu, which to me resembled our mule deer. The ponderous elephants are always fun to look at, as is the impala, which is the favorite food of the lion. The zebras, as usual, were frisky and laughable to look at. It seems nature made convicts of them. For the moment, I forgot my so-called psychological study of jungle versus civilization and stood spellbound by the rugged beauty and serenity of this strange country, strange people, strange animals. To me, this was the eternal fascination of Africa. The dark continent never failed to live up to the expectations I had of it. The hippos seemed docile and gentle enough as they soaked up water and sun, yet this belied their deadly qualities when encountered on the hoof. They were dangerous and always ready to attack. Regardless of the interesting things always present, we had to continue on our journey at last. I was not exactly impatient, but there was a problem in my mind, waiting to be solved.
Say, Doc, one question.
Yeah?
We're not going beyond the deeper villages, are we?
I haven't made up my mind yet. We might.
Well, surely not in the gorilla country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this safari could be a lot of fun if I could only forget that old Maharaja's curse. Say, you suppose there was anything to what he said?
You know, people in this part of the world have been a puzzle to you and me for thousands of years. Back home in the States, we dismissed them as superstitions. We wouldn't believe it no matter how it was presented. But out here, there's some things that seem perfectly natural. My eyes have seen things that my mind refuses to accept. Yet I've seen them.
Well, you can tell me this is none of my business. But Velda and Jack seem perfectly natural and quite happy. It looks as if you've rescued a drowning person, and now you've thrown her back into the water.
Velda just got a chance to learn how to swim. Maybe I wanted to see if she could. In fact, I've got to know.
She's been sort of a guinea pig, hasn't she? You've
Yeah.
charted all her actions and reactions as she became civilized. Do you know, it seems to me...
What seems to you, Cyril? That we're in the midst of so much beauty that we shouldn't waste a minute of it? Safari going all right?
Pretty good, I guess. How's Velda taking it?
She's not disappointing me. And you?
Oh, look, I'm sorry, Jack. I don't mean to pry into your private business. I got nothing against Velda. It's just that there's a suspicion up here that I can't put down. I could be wrong.
You sure could. I intend to prove it.
Although things were going consistently well, there was always the possibility of danger lurking in the very next brush.
I'll take this one, Arthur.
It's all yours.
Eagle!
Let's go. Later on in the trek, we came upon an incident that was undoubtedly an ordinary occurrence for Velda. We stood horrified, spellbound. Here was the raw, grim savagery of the jungle unfolding before our eyes. The law of survival of the fittest, and it was shocking. Cyril was watching with a sick expression. Jack winced, but he seemed incapable of doing anything. We were all frozen in revulsion, all except Velda. I caught the look on her face. It was fixed and stolid, almost a smirk. She was watching something which to her was an old story.
Linus must eat.
We came out of the brush country and saw the ruins of the Zimbabwe directly ahead. The Amahosas, a tribe that was neither hostile nor civilized, inhabited the ruins. Put the gun away, Jack. Wouldn't do any good if those Zubulis want to start trouble.
Why don't we leave before they see us?
I'm afraid they already have. Those dances, they puzzle me. There was a curious mixture of cannibal and modern touches in their dress, and yet they were known for their ferocity toward other tribes. We were reluctant to go closer, particularly with Velda along. Besides, it seemed they were having a big meeting of some kind with other natives. I had heard that a renegade white, a notorious Nairobi Smith, lived among them as their leader. It seemed strange that a white man would forsake his home to live among the natives, so I wondered if he was behind the Mamas.
Do you think those natives would object to having their pictures taken?
I don't think so. They're used to the white man.
And just be sure you tell them how you want to be cooked, Cyril. Pot-boiled, fricasseed, or well-stewed.
Well, on second thought, I think I should save my film.
Go ahead, Cyril. He's kidding you.
He is. Why, you young pipsqueak, you're not daunting my courage. Pretty good stuff, though. Say, Doc, maybe I ought to get one or two shots.
Come on, Cyril. I'll go with you.
You will? You will?
I was amazed that Jack would leave Velda with me. He was by her side so constantly. But at the moment, I was more concerned with these mixed dances and wondered if possibly Nairobi Smith had anything to do with this gathering. Could be he was trying to stir them up. There was a rumor that Nairobi hated his own people.
Get a couple of shots for the eyeball.
Them Zula. Them Haloops. Them Bookers, gorilla hunters.
Why do they dance?
Not ordinary dance. Gorilla dance. Bad.
Why is it bad?
Every year gorilla come for sacrifice. For girl.
I'm going to see the chief. Present for you. Let's get out of here.
What's the matter? Did Cyril run out of film?
I think you'd better go, Arthur. One of the natives got a glimpse of Velda, and they say... I'm sorry, honey. They recognized her as being part of the gorilla pack. And they said unless we left, they'd take her prisoner. And then Lollywog would leave them alone.
Who's Lollywog, Velda?
Him leader of gorillas. My pack. Hunter shoot him when he found me.
What do we do?
I guess we'd better go. Okay, come on.
Even voor de melem. Maar ze hebben kalender order. Maar ze hebben voor de melem. Maar ze hebben voor de melem. Voor de melem is wel een banse. Kloppen in Bimpella. Tade jonke pa Angela na in Goko. Ville gokken gokken. Jonke. Amagasle.
Of trouble as we left the village. I thought I could read between the lines of Jack's explanation. But somehow I felt it had a connection with Nairobi Smith. I don't like it. I got a funny feeling when I've wandered around here.
Well, what'll we do, Arthur?
Let's get moving.
Kulala Amadoro.
We're being followed. We'd better find us a spot before we're ambushed.
Kulala.
Let's go.
Kulala Amadoro.
Let go!
Okay, Nairobi. You're all washed up. I'm taking you into the nearest constabulary.
Him evil.
That's the Usali village, the last one we passed before we hit guerrilla country.
Are the natives friendly?
Very friendly. Me and the chief are good friends. I spent a couple of months here once, delivered a whole batch of babies. Velda, do you know them?
Velda know them.
You'd better stay here with Jack.
Why can't we take her along with us?
Well, it might prevent some excitement. Oh, I don't mean it hurt her or anything. It's just that they might get upset.
Okay, I'll stay.
No, Jack, go. Velda, wait here. Not afraid. Jack, go.
Okay, Cyril, let's go.
Get the IMO out for me.
We received a friendly welcome from the village. There was much here of interest, and Cyril had his typical reaction. He was a real camera bug. I watched Jack slyly. I thought he might be disturbed mentally. If he was, he showed no signs. We were fascinated by the color of the various natives, each symbol of a stage in their lives. The paint, long skirt, and blouses represented their marriageable status, and the peculiar designs of the warlike paint on their faces told a message to all the eligible males. A stranger in their midst could tell in sight whether he confronted a married woman, a betrothed, or one who was in search of a mate. The naked torso painted with red bola or clay meant that she is engaged and betrothed. Primitive as it seemed, it was practical and well conceived. Much like our American Indian, the native women carried their bohara, or babies, on their backs. I thought of Jack, but noted he was watching Cyril, whose manner of fun was contagious enough to take Jack's mind off Velda, at least for the time being. This bevy of girls was in the custody of the village witch doctor, but that made no difference to Cyril. He kidded with them, and the witch doctor took it good-naturedly. Everybody laughed heartily. I recognized these two as Bonbonas of a neighboring tribe. They were the tallest in Africa, almost 7 feet. That's the chief over there. I'll be right back, fellows. I had a lengthy talk with my friend, the old chief. He told me the guerrillas had gotten worse each year since Velda was taken from them. They were meaner, wilder. They hadn't attacked the Usali. However, this was probably because the Usali were fighting men, always training for the possibility of battle. The chief invited us to watch some of his warriors. Cyril was having more fun than the natives and kidded with them. Apparently, they shared his enthusiasm, for they giggled and laughed at his antics. Suddenly, they started to beat a rhythm by clapping their hands. The chief told me this meant the war games were about to start. whole rhythm was contagious, and Cyril fell under the sway of it as he convulsed a few of the natives with his version of Ball and the Jack.
Ik nog.
The old chief farewell. He invited me back to the village, but I had a sneaking suspicion he had another baby crop about due. Now, let's call it a day, boys, and get moving.
Come on.
We didn't realize how long we'd stayed in the village until we left. Had a peculiar premonition as we neared the spot where Velda waited. Or rather, where Velda had waited, because she was gone.
Something's happened to Velda. She's gone.
I expected that. I only wonder it didn't happen before now.
What are you talking about?
Forget it. What do we do now?
Well, I'm for getting out of here. What do you say, son? Let's go home while we're ahead.
Well, go on home. As far as I'm concerned, the two of you can go straight to. I'm gonna find Velda. Velda!
Why don't you tell him, Doc? He's got a right to know.
I've got a right to know what?
Listen, kid, brother, I never told you everything. As pastor's doctor, he revealed things to me that I felt obligated to keep from you. But now I'm going to give it to you both barrels, whether you like it or not. Why don't you wake up?
Wake up to what?
Wake up from a nightmare. There are things happening around here that the outside world never heard of. But the fact remains they're here. And we're here. These natives have been sacrificing women to gorillas for ages.
What's that got to do with Velda?
Where do you suppose she came from? She might not have been a sacrifice maiden, but she lived like one.
You expect me to buy that?
I don't care whether you buy it or not. I bought it. From the lips of a dying man.
Pastor?
After all, Velda lived with him 2.5 years. What did you expect? He educated her. She revealed every little intimate detail. Do I have to go on?
Go on.
He learned from Velda that the natives have been sacrificing virgins to gorillas. And what's more shocking, these maidens consider it an honor. If one does escape, the natives avoid her like the plague. And yet no one of them has ever been found dead.
Are you insinuating?
Velda spent most of her life with the gorilla pack. I think she's gone home, returned to her animal instinct.
Boy, you better give yourself a pill. She's all woman. I ought to know.
Why don't you wise up, Jack? She's not a woman, she's a beast. I ought to break you in two. But you're out of your head.
Thanks. You're not going to let him go out there alone, are you?
I'll let him get himself killed. But I brought him here. Let's go.
Lollywog no remember Velda? Velda come to tell Lollywog Velda go away. I don't like it. It's too quiet.
Just a chimp.
But that isn't. Don't move. He's bluffing.
Shall we follow him?
No, wait a minute.
Now.
Go on ahead, find a clearing, make a camp till it gets a little dark.
He must have fell asleep. What time is it?
Well, it's about 10 o'clock. The moon's up, but it ought to be good and dark by midnight, and we can take off then.
Where's Cyril?
Taking the first watch. I'm going to relieve him in about 15 minutes. He didn't have a chance.
Velda, come on. Get it.
Some sort of a ritual.
Okay, I've seen it. But I still don't think Velda's any part of it.
It's Velda!
See how he's doing, Velda? Listen, Jack. This ape's afraid of a gun. As soon as one of them makes a lunge, you and Velda make a break for it.
Now these are the laws of the jungle, and many and mighty are they, for the one who shall make it may prosper, but the one who breaks it must die.